kind of cool, as we spoke about at the start. It's kind of cool to be Asian in this day and age. So I think, yeah, our kids are going to definitely have a better time of it.
Yeah, lucky them. They're not gonna get bullied. Like, yeah, primary school was a pretty rough time for me. Just like, yeah, I won't go into it too much, but it was not a great period of my life, really. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't mind, like, if you could share like just a little bit of it, we don't have to go into too much details, but like, what sort of things was it?
Just really like, yeah, I caught racism massively in primary school, and it's probably like, if I really think about it, it's probably like the trauma of my introvertedness, like, or the cause of, because I was just basically called the Chinese kid, and I do remember specifically, uh, a person who I'll never forgive, but that's okay. It's good to hold grudges. But just yeah, like I remember they would just bully me all the time, and I remember maybe for like I had like some close friends, but they would kind of just go off and play with other kids. But I remember like maybe 2 3 years of my life during lunchtime, I would just walk around the yard just on my own, just because I didn't have any friends, just because I was different. I was like, yeah, just kind of seen as a weirdo, like, yeah, like the Chinese kid. And I would talk to my parents, and it's like you want them to do something, but there's nothing that they can really do about it. So it's like you kind of just have to uh, learn to deal with it. Um, but I think that has made me a bit like, I'm not going to condone getting bullied because it sucks, but it um I have a much thicker skin these days. Like, if people call me an idiot or whatever, I just brush it off. Or if people, talk behind my back or say things like, if I know someone's saying shit about me behind my back, I like, yeah, I don't really care that much because I've just been used to it from back then. So it sucks, but that's just the cards that I was dealt with back then. And it's just like you got to turn it into a winning hand somehow. So I guess, yeah, it was not a good period of my life, but there was an odd shift where suddenly everyone loved me later in primary school, which is weird, and everyone was being like overly protective of me. So it actually did really switch, and I found that weird as well. It's like, do you just like me now because I'm Asian? So that was weird. That was a weird thing. But like the early years of my primary school was quite rough, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can't relate to that sort of bullying. Obviously, there's comments and things with kids because they just don't know any better. But yeah, man, that sucks to hear that. And I guess you said sort of coping mechanism was to kind of go into your shell a little bit and not draw too much attention.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
it's
sucks.
fine now. That was over 30 years ago. I don't think that's going to happen in a high school these days, which is good. Like, yeah, yeah. Like, I'd rather not have someone have that same experience. But I mean, like, if you think about it, like, at least I'm not in war or anything like that. So that's kind of my coping mechanism.
It could be worse
It could be
mentality.
worse. Yeah, my mentality is like, if something bad happens, it's like, well, at least I'm not about to die. So sometimes it kind of affects my motivation to do something.
At
It's like,
least I'm
oh,
not Lee Byung
yeah,
Hun.
I need, I need to like, to motivate me. It's literally someone has to be pointing a gun to my head and like, do it now. Like, all right, I'll do it now. Yeah, but otherwise, I'm like pretty chill on things. Yeah.
Well, it all makes sense now, right? You different things, ways that you were impacted when you're younger, forms those habits when you're older. But yeah, man, thanks for sharing
Oh
that.
no, that's all good, man.